Meatball Pudding Rob is in a little bit of hot water because for once in his life, he grew a pair of balls and decided to kind of directly attack Trump. But it's interesting what happens here because, there's also being interpreted as you're going after Trump supporters as well, and therefore all of them get incredibly triggered and they start shitting on him ruthlessly. So he's doing an interview with the Florida Standard here, talking to, I think this guy's actually a conservative activist. And we'll listen to his comments and then we'll go ahead and break them down.
Biggest thing that I see happening right now online when I'm going on Twitter and talking to people that I don't see a lot of other conservative personalities talking to you about is a lot of the arguments that many of the MAGA people will say that you are controlled by the Bushes and the Cheneys, that you are a rhino, that this is the real reason why you're running. I'd like to kind of put those things to rest once and for all. What is your response to that?
Well, it's just totally fabricated. I mean, I have the boldest record of any elected Republican in the country. I mean, how many establishment Republicans would send troops to the southern border? How many establishment Republicans would ban transgender surgeries for minors?
Literally all of them would do that, and all of them are doing that. What a dumb point. How many establishment Republicans would do establishment Republican thing X? Like all of them. By the way, just to be clear, the main thrust of the criticism from the MAGA people is that Ron DeSantis is an establishment Republican. They are 100% correct. Here's where they're wrong, though. You know who else is an establishment Republican? Donald J. Trump. His biggest legislative accomplishment was a tax cut for the rich. He increased drone strikes over 400%. Very hawkish on foreign policy. Killed General Soleimani. Ripped up the Iran agreement. Tried to do a coup in Venezuela. Deregulated massively the economy. He's the same. There's like a handful of issues where he slightly deviates, and they act like that makes it, oh my God, base Trump is draining the swamp. No, he's not. He is the swamp, or he's chugging the swamp water. All right, let's continue.
Establishment Republicans would eliminate critical race theory.
All of them.
Through 12 schools. How many establishment Republicans would have been willing to fund transportation for illegal aliens to go to Martha's Vineyard?
All of them. Greg Abbott is busing them all across the country right now. He's busted them more places than you have. You just got more eyeballs on it because it was a publicity stunt because you sent them to Martha's Vineyard in particular.
How many establishment Republicans would have done the constitutional carry for Second Amendment or the heartbeat bill?
All of them, 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 all of them. All of them, you're not special. All of them, you're not special. You're not special. You're not special. You're not special. You're Meatball Pudding Rob.
It just flies in the face of everything that we've ever done for our record. And oh, by the way, I mean, I've been fighting the Republican establishment my whole career, including as a founding member of the Freedom Caucus.
You are the Republican establishment, and you were recently endorsed by Jeb Bush.
We showed how it's done in Florida. We came in, we drained this swamp here in Florida, and the state's never done better as a result. And we won a victory that no Republican governor candidate has ever achieved in the history of the state of Florida.
So to the people who make those claims, they make it so much. Why do you think that they say these things? Is there a reasoning behind it, or do they really think that?
I don't think they think it. I think that we have a strand in our party that views supporting Trump as whether you are a rhino or not.
That is definitely true. That is absolutely true.
Be the most conservative person since sliced bread.
Is sliced bread conservative?
They will somehow call you a rhino. So it's been totally detached from principle and what you actually believe and results. And it's more about, just what faction you happen to do. So there'll be people who are huge Trump supporters, like in Congress, who have like incredibly liberal left-wing records that's really just atrocious. And yet they're viewed as by some of these folks as like really, really good.
I think he's referring to like Matt Gaetz being, on some maybe like Syria or Ukraine or whatever, being against the funding for that. And I think Gaetz is a Trump supporter. Am I right about that? Tell me in the comments section. Or he might be referring to like Marjorie Taylor Greene, similar thing vis-a-vis Ukraine or Syria, like being anti-war in the most limited scope possible. And yeah, massively liberal. Come on, man. Like every Republican in Congress votes with Trump over like 85% of the time. What are we really talking about here?
People, like a Congressman Chip Roy, who's endorsed me, Congressman Thomas Massey. These guys have records of principle fighting the swamp that are second to none, and yet they will be attacked by some of these people and called rhinos. So it's just been totally detached from any type of substance.
Look, on this point, he's not wrong. Because DeSantis has been sprinting to the right to outflank Trump on the right because he misread the appeal of Trumpism. The appeal of Trumpism is the vibes. It's the show and the showmanship. That's the appeal. Like, that's his current day supporters. They're just all in for the ride like a cult. So yeah, you're not going to outflank him on the right. You're not going to, I signed a 6-week abortion ban, therefore all these people are going to support me. No, they're not. And by the way, have you looked at the polls? Now, you just made yourself way less viable in a general election by sprinting way to the right of the American people.
Movement has got to be about what are you trying to achieve on behalf of the American people? And that's got to be based in principle. Because if you're not rooted in principle, if all we are is listless vessels that's just supposed to follow, whatever happens to come down the pike on Truth Social every morning, that's not going to be a durable movement.
Here's what these people think of your principle, Ron DeSantis, or Meatball Pudding Rob. That's what they think of your principle. That's what you can do with your principle. Oh, man, this is great. So, look, MAGA got a hold of this, and they went all in response to it. So this is what we got in reaction. This is from Make America Great Again, Inc. Ron DeSantis must immediately apologize. Quote, to Hillary Clinton, Trump supporters are deplorables. To Ron DeSantis, they are listless vessels. The truth is, Trump supporters are patriots. Ron DeSantis is showing his true colors. The pressure of polling in third place is getting to DeSantis, and now he is lashing out at the very same voters who got him elected governor. DeSantis must immediately apologize for his disgraceful insult. Trump supporters are masters of emotional manipulation, right? So it goes right to, none of this actually addressed the specifics or the substance of what DeSantis said. It's just like, you must apologize. Hillary Clinton called us deplorables. You called us listless vessels. And you hate your own voters. And this is a disgraceful insult. And it's like, what is this whole what is this whole song and dance? You hate him, you know you hate him, you're going to attack him anyway. Now you're acting like, well, if he apologizes, then he'll be back in our good graces. No, he won't. And then you get this. DeSantis camp fires back at MAGA outrage over listless vessels diss. Quote, this is from DeSantis. Dishonest media refuses to report the facts. What are you're pivoting now to go after the media because you're under fire by Trump supporters? Okay, let's get to the specifics of it. In a statement Sunday morning, DeSantis press secretary Brian Griffin implied the governor was taken out of context and that his comment was directed specifically at Trump, quote, and some of his congressional endorsers. The dishonest media refuses to report the facts. Donald Trump and some congressional endorsers are listless vessels, Griffin said. Why? Because Trump and D.C. insiders feel he is entitled to your vote. Ron DeSantis believes your trust should be earned and has the vision, plan, and record to beat Joe Biden and reverse the decline of our country. So in other words, he's saying, look, I wasn't calling all Trump supporters listless vessels. I was calling Trump himself, and I was calling Trump's, politician lackeys and endorsers listless vessels. That's the claim that he's making. Look, good effort to try to wiggle your way out of this, but Ron, they don't care. They're going to go after you no matter what, dude. The idea that you're going to try to parse through their statements and be like, well, I wasn't exactly what I meant, and the media's like being dishonest and stuff, and it ain't going to work, dog. It ain't going to work. They're going to, it's debatable whether or not they actually took him out of context, but even if he was perfectly in context, they would take him out of context. So, none of this matters, none of this matters, none of this matters. I actually feel for Ron DeSantis in this limited sense. He is caught between a rock and a hard place. If you go after Trump hard, that doesn't help you. If you don't go after him at all, it doesn't help you. He's trying to split the difference and go after him in some limited ways while also defending him in other ways. And it's like, then you just come across as sort of meek and nebbish and cuckish and weak. And so, I don't know if there's anything he could do, to be honest, at this point. Because his comments there, they are perfectly reasonable. What did it apply to Trump and the politicians who support him? Maybe. Did he also mean Trump supporters? Maybe. But honestly, even if at this late date it was still about the Trump supporters, he's not wrong. But their point is you're not going to win them over by mocking them and calling them listless vessels. But you're not going to win them over if you don't call them that either. So might as well tell the truth in the meantime, right? We covered the story. I'm not going to find the tab here, but it was people who are supporters of Trump believe Trump more than they believe their own friends, their own family, religious leaders, the media, literally anybody and everybody. So what are you supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do with that? So anyway, I love the over-the-top outrage over nothing from the Trump people and from Trump himself. And And I love how DeSantis is trying to like nuance his way out of this, but none of this, it's all going to come to naught. Look, all you can hope for at this late date now is that if Trump sits out of the debates, which he seems he's going to definitely do, at least the first one, you just hope one of the other candidates breaks through, makes a little bit of a run, scares Trump into getting involved. And I'm waiting for a plot twist, either on the Democratic side or the Republican side or both. We all feel like we're yodeling towards another Trump Biden rematch, and none of us really want that. And so, like, all the evidence says at this moment, oh, that's what we're gonna get. But at the same time, it's like you feel like there's a plot twist coming somewhere, somehow. And so I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I hope there's some sort of a plot twist because I've seen this episode one too many times and it's getting boring now. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.